I'm Logan Crawford, and right now on Spotlight, we're diving into the enigmatic realms of fate with Lilian Nirupa's The Paths of Destiny, Introduction to an Ancient Tool for Self-Understanding. This insightful book explores whether our lives are truly predestined and how ancient methods can help uncover the profound mysteries of our existence. We're delighted to have this very talented author join us here today on Spotlight. We thank our team at Atticus Publishing for helping us put her in the spotlight today. And we ask viewers like you to support authors like her by subscribing to our channel and by purchasing her insightful book. The links are below this interview. Lilian, thank you so much for joining us here today on Spotlight.
Thank you for this opportunity. Yes.
Oh, I'm delighted to have you on the show. What inspired you to explore the ancient methods of understanding destiny?
Well, as you can imagine, it was, and I explained in the book, it's a long journey. Throughout my life, I was always interested in spirituality and always interested in computers. So when I started my journey, I started to meditate and all that many years ago. Then when I came to this country and I found the computer world, I loved it too. And then I met my guru, Chivilasananda, and her master's astrologer was Chakrapani. And I explained in the book, I had the opportunity to have a reading with him, but I had heard about the Vedic astrology, which is sort of like the root of what now we call astrology, but it has sort of like the science of understanding. It has all the Hindu psychology behind it. So that's what I was interested in, because one thing when you work, particularly because I was a systems person, and I saw it was such a systematic way of looking at how a human soul works. And we have a lot of information in a scientific way, well-organized way. In the world of computers, for example, which is most of it totally invisible, just like the stars are and the spiritual world is. And so attracted me to the fact that those systems were so simple and so accurate. It was amazing, which is unusual too. So then as I explained in the book, I was totally surprised that Chakrapani could read me like my mother couldn't read me. I knew exactly what was going to happen in my life and everything else. And I was a little skeptical at the beginning, because in his first reading, he predicted that my life had two major cycles, and the division of it, one of them was challenging and the rest was going to be much easier and more fruitful. And I keep on looking at you. No, I had to look at the camera. Sorry. And then but he said that it was going to happen, and he was doing the calculations by hand in those times. There were no computers outside, the Pentagon or something. And he said that it was going to be in the 25th of April. That was 2 days after our meeting. That was incredible. I said everything was going to change, and it effectively did change. So it really caught my attention, and I started studying it, to classes with him, to classes with other teachers. I was very lucky in finding teachers and books and all that, and I was obsessed with understanding it. And I did a lot of practice and reading, attending conferences and all that. And what I discovered is that what it shows you is that our souls have a structure, very much like we do in the computer world. And that structure is what makes the energy circulate. And that make us different. It's sort of like a spiritual DNA. We're all different, and we're born that way because we build it up ourselves. See, our ways of thinking, our ways of feeling, our ways of reacting with other people. So those are ingrained in what they call the psychic instruments. The Hindus believe that when you die, your body dies, but the psychic instruments, which are the mind, the soul, the sense of discrimination, and the memory, they seek another form of life. So our minds and our souls are alive, but like everything alive, can grow healthy or sick or die, and in its caring, in its training, in its cultivation. And in our society, in these times, we don't pay much attention to that. We think that it's a question of opinion. And not really. When they show there, and they have like 3,000 goals, is that there are 4 goals of human life, which is, dharma, which is duty, artha, how to make money, you have to support yourself, kama, desire, what you want to fulfill, enjoy your life, and moksha, the liberation of the soul. And the 12 signs of the zodiac and the planets are symbols of the powers that move all this complex structure. So then we begin to understand that, yes, we're all different, but there is a logic behind it, and it can be understood. So when we're talking about, like we say in Christianity, that Lord, that will be done. Well, what is that will? If it's written for us, if there is a map, that should be understood. And actually, as I explained there, when Jesus was born, the 3 people that found him were 3 astrologers, because he had discovered that was time the person. He has a fantastic chart, by the way, I got it up. Anyhow, so in my book, I not only explain how the system works, how those symbols are part of our, inner structure, how it is organized around the cycles of life. And also I have 36 description of famous personalities, a lot of them from Hollywood, because I love good film. One of my passions is good film, but there's a lot of them as historic figures too, and anybody from Queen Victoria to Hitler, from Paul Newman to George Clooney, all different people whose lives are well known. So I show the chart as it is, and the principles of Jyotish, how they've been highlighted on each one, because of the 36, each one of them represents a famous point on the structure, So it's complex, but you have to read it. Like, I have, 3 for each one of the signs. I have 3 for Artha, 3 for Dharma, 3 for well, let me explain that. The 4 goals of human life are divided according to the sign of the zodiac. Like, for example, Dharma, which is duty, is the 1st house, the 5th house, and the 9th. Dharta, which is money, is the 2nd, the 6th, and the 10th. Kama, which is desire, is the the 3rd, the 7th, and the 11th. And moksha is the 4th, the 8th, and the 12th. So for each of these signs, I found a famous personality. And I put 3 examples for each one of them. And they're well known. So it's amazing. And I got some comments on that. Somebody says, it could be inside. No, it's not. It's very, you can compare it. And that's the thing, it's mathematically oriented. It's not my opinion at all. Which is, I think, that was important that we try to understand our souls, because we know everything about our blood circulation, our digestion, about the Wall Street, about everything, and we take it very seriously and objectively. And I think the story of how our souls inner architecture should be shared. So that's my point.
Absolutely. It's very, very important. How do you think readers can use these ancient tools to navigate their own personal life questions?
Well, then it has many aspects of it, because as you can see, those 4 goals cover the whole of my life. But then it's important to get the reading. I did this for 30 years. And I'm learning still. So the first one that you need, and it's important. Like, I had like 8 of the big teachers have done mine, and it's amazing how similar they are, but they have different focus. So have your chart done, which can be done on the web, and then get somebody that knows about it, give interpretation, and then the book allows you to understand it as you get the meaning of it, right? And so, if, for example, one of the things that I explain in the book is other aspects of spiritual psychology, and I'm working on a sequel that explains it out aside from the astrological parts, just like the structures. But anyhow, for example, some people are very willpower oriented. right? So, and children like that. So they know they can do anything. And you can see it in the chart. And I have several examples. Like Al Pacino, for example, is a simple case, right? When you see it in The Godfather, he sits down there and he is power. He doesn't have to do anything. He is power. I mean, even, like in The Scent of a Woman, I mean, he can see, but he's still power, right? So that people, however, one of the problems people have sometimes is that their own strengths can be a little bit of their weaknesses because they assume that everybody else has them. So then if they find people weak, they get upset or they push them around. So they have to understand that there are other aspects of personality, like the ability to love, the ability to think, that have to be balanced. So the level of balance on that is understood. Another thing that's very useful and very important is for marriage. The compatibility charts for the Jyotish are fantastic. They're amazing. They have 14 different levels of connectivity between people. I have one example, for example, again, to my love of movies, of Paul Newman and Joan Edward. They had a long marriage, almost perfect. And on the 36 points of compatibility, they have 33. So they probably agree on everything. They were always happy. They were different people. Because it's funny, the thing that they are different is that she's very feminine and he's very masculine, which is good for marriage too. But the rest of it, so this is important, how to understand, find your partner, how to find your career. I have a lot of examples there in the book about what's important in your career.
Amazing.
And it's amazing. So because if you're not happy at your job, it's because maybe you're not born for it. And unfortunately, people, one of the effects I get from my readings many times is people say, but that's how I see myself, right? That's the way they are. So, but then you listen to your parents, you listen to the television, you listen what's trendy, and you may be distracted. So that's important to understand who you are, where you're going, what can you do, what can hurt you, that kind of thing.
Right. Those are the keys to self-understanding on a deeper level, for sure. Lilian Nirupa's book is amazing. It'll help you on your path to self-discovery and self-understanding. The name of the book is Paths of Destiny, Introduction to an Ancient Tool for Self-Understanding. This insightful book explores whether our lives are truly predestined and how ancient methods can help you uncover the profound mysteries of our existence. It's a great read. It's very insightful. You will love it. It's a game changer. Lilian, thank you so much for joining us here today on Spotlight.
Thank you very much. It's a great opportunity for me too, and I'm very grateful. Thanks.
Well, we appreciate you sharing your words of wisdom with us. And to the folks at home, I'm Logan Crawford, thanking you for your time this time. Until next time on Spotlight.
Okay.